What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Jake from Citizen JV, and I want to talk about Alien Rogue Incursion. And I should have waited because I recently just got done doing a live stream on this game. I was getting really frustrated to a certain part of the game to where I literally thought that I was at almost towards at the end of the game, and I think I literally was. And so what I've noticed that when I got to a certain part of the game, I really can't say where it was at because I just got done with it, right? You know, the live stream, of course. And I'm going to say one thing. This is the worst Alien game I have ever played, even though it is a first-person shooter, and I love first-person shooters, okay? While it does fall under, the same length in a way to where it feels like a RoboCop game from Taeyon or Nacon or one of the two, and much like there was another game that was very similar to Terminator Resistance, which I actually really liked a lot, really, because not just because of a first-person shooter as it is, it's what it represented into the Terminator universe of its somewhat canon. Now, here's the thing. Going back to me saying that this is the worst game I have ever played, it is the worst game I have ever played. And the reason why I'm capitalizing on this is because this is a review of sorts, and this is an angry rant as well. The puzzle solving is very intricate. It's very tedious, and you really have a hard time really navigating of how you're really going to really circumvent certain areas of a fuse box, as you see here. And not only that, it's that the story is very intriguing and interesting and mysterious, but it comes full circle once you get really close to the end of the game. And I kind of figured that because, I feel like that when it comes to this game, for me specifically, it was very predictable. I don't like it when games are very predictable, and it makes it not fun. And so, now going back to, like I said, about that progression bug that I had, I said to myself, fuck this game, I'm no longer playing this game, I'm no longer going to do a live stream on it, because, like I said again, I'm going to say it one more time, fuck this game and the horse that it rode in on, because, like I said, one more time, this is the worst game I have ever played. I was praising it for a good while for the long streams that I have done with this game so far. Live streams, excuse me. I did 3 live streams on this game, and while I was having fun, there's a lot of backtracking. A lot of runbacks, basically. And, it's to be expected, especially when it comes to a story-based game with some first-person shooter mechanics and vice versa, and some puzzle solving, which is... it's intriguing, but it's not that great either. I think that they could have done so much better with this game. I really feel like that this game had so much potential, but again, it's just like, for me, I have always said that I never listen to reviews, and so I still don't. But now I see why this game did not do very well, even with a VR or non-VR. I mean, it is a good Alien experience. But to me, I feel like that when it came to Alien Isolation many years ago, I believe it was 2014 or 2015 when that game came out, that game was utterly brilliant. It was a cat and mouse type of thing. You had to constantly stealth. You had to constantly find certain things in the game to, like, build and craft certain things to, basically eliminate the alien in a certain way and distract them and all that kind of stuff. Here, in Alien Rogue Excursion, it's nothing like that. It's a pure, all-out, first-person shooter. I really think if you really want to get into this game, it's a first-person shooter. If you like first-person shooters, by all means, it's a good game to its own degree. But again, I think, like I said, it's not a very good game. Like I said, I praised it just a little bit, but then, overall, with the runbacks, with so many and the puzzle solving, like I said, it's really not the greatest. I've had better puzzle solving elements or RPG mechanics in most other games that I have played, like Amnesia: The Dark Descent or Alien Isolation to a certain degree. Those have better RPG elements in a way to where the puzzle solving is much more intricate and very progression story oriented. Alien Rogue Incursion does have that, but I just think that I think they could have done it better. I really can't say how they could have done it better, but that's just my own personal opinion, of course. So again, if you really want to play this game, it's all out. I would wait maybe for a bargain bin, maybe for $10-15. I fell under the trap of buying this game for $30, and I'm just like, now I really wish I hadn't. And so, it's $30 from me, though. I really don't have any much money problems at all, really. And so the problem is that I have with this game for the most part, like I said again, it was the predictable storyline and just how frustrating this game really gets to a very certain point of the game, to where you're always going back to certain areas that you've already progressed through, and basically just like saying to yourself, why am I doing this? Why are we going back to these areas? Obviously that's the case because, that's where you have to like pick up certain things much later in the game for story progression. So again, I really think, I know people are probably going to come into my comment section and say, this is nothing but verbal diarrhea and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, what? I don't care. And so, like I said again, I was literally pissed off towards the end of my live stream on this game recently, and I'm just like, I have every reason to be pissed off, because knowing a person as I am, obviously, that, being a huge fan of first-person shooters, being a huge fan of the Alien franchise as a whole, when it comes to the movies, Alien Isolation captures that vibe so much better in a certain aspect and thematic degree rather than Alien Rogue Incursion. Now, to my understanding, Alien Rogue Incursion is canon to a certain degree, and I forgot what films that it's bridging the gap in. I really can't say. My apologies. So that's one thing I did not do research on. So, like I said, I don't give a shit. I don't. So, all I can say, do I recommend this game? Really? No, I don't. Because, like I said, this is a hard pass. And it just makes me very frustrated. And I really wanted to finish this game today, but I can't because of the progression bug that I had. And I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. So I'm not doing it anymore. So anyways, too much further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies that I had to really put out my angry rant review on this game. And so like I said again, I don't need to repeat it. So, but too much further ado, any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section below, ladies and gentlemen. And you guys have been absolutely amazing. This is Jake from Citizen JV. I'll see you guys later. Peace.